Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Being Mary Jane Season 4, Episode 10, which was also the mid-season finale, and it was titled Getting It. If you haven't heard already, Being Mary Jane is on break. I guess they're doing like Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder and the other major networks. So they're doing a mid-season finale, and the show will return on July 18th, which I don't mind because that's way better than having to wait till February of next year after only getting like 10 episodes. But anyway, that's what's taking place, and let's go ahead and get started with tonight's episode. So, oh Jesus. That's just all I'm going to say is, oh Jesus. Mary Jane is fantasizing about Justin while having dinner with Cara and Lee. Cara has invited them over and they're talking about Mary Jane's birthday. And I guess they had some cake or something and was trying to guess what the ingredients were in the cake. But they go on, and Lee pitches an idea for Mary Jane's 40th birthday where he says he wants to take her to some comedy club, and I guess they'll be celebrating Mary Jane that night, and he's going to bring in some guest comedians. And then Cara says that her idea for Mary Jane's birthday is to check something off her bucket list. And I guess one of the things on Mary Jane's bucket list is to stay at the same place that the Obamas stay at when they go to Martha's Vineyard on vacation. So Cara is supposed to rent the suite or the house or whatever they do over there, and then plan, this getaway for Mary Jane. And she lets Mary Jane know that she tried to get her parents and her family to come and join them, but they weren't able to. And I think they said that PJ is actually in Dubai, so that's why he couldn't make it. So Mary Jane and Lee, they're talking to Cara about making up with Orlando and telling her, that she was scared, that she overreacted, and that, she needs to put her fears aside and take Orlando back because, he was a good guy and he really liked her. And, she can't worry about what his past relationships were, that she has to look forward to the future and, ride the wave while she can. But Cara says that, she doesn't want to do it. But I'm thinking, Cara, you know good and damn well that you missed that man. And you better go and get your boo back. Mary Jane, she can't wait to get back to the hotel, with Lee so they can have sex. But I'm really believing that she's probably still fantasizing about Justin, because remember when they were at Cara's, Justin kind of like walked through the room when he really wasn't there. And so for some reason, she pulls out this, I guess it's like a butt dildo or something. And I don't understand how Mary Jane wants to play in her man's behind, but then she says he's too metrosexual for her, because he crosses his legs and, sips tea and all this stuff. So Mary Jane, you kind of confusing me on that aspect, but it doesn't really matter because Lee gets up and says that he has to go and he leaves her high and dry. So I guess she'll be using that dildo on herself. The following morning in the story meeting, Justin pitches an idea for Mary Jane and Aaron to do a piece on Knicks fans or sports fans, and they were going to cover the Knicks. And Cara's feeling some kind of way because she had pitched a story about doing sports stats or something, but they didn't think it was a good idea. So in her office, Justin lets Mary Jane know that, he still has a plan to get her in the anchor chair. And then he shares that the story that they had did on the girl Liz, the one that was bullied on the internet because of some posts that she had made, that she had actually planted the story herself. And so they are hoping that they can expose the story and it will show that Ronda didn't vet the story the way that she should have. And then they're going to some kind of way turn it around and accuse Ronda of reporting on a fake story. I don't know how this is going to work out. But Justin seems to be confident that it's going to get Ronda out of that chair. But because Aaron likes Mary Jane, then he'll probably choose Mary Jane to fill the anchor seat. But then Mary Jane was saying, what if they do a nationwide search for the spot, but Justin is telling her that she's thinking too far ahead, that, for them to just see how this thing works out. So Mary Jane is excited that she may finally get into the anchor seat, and she tells Lee the story, and he asks her, if she's sure she can trust Justin. He then expresses his doubts about having a baby with Mary Jane because he will have children on two different continents and that's not something that he wants to do. So the two end up arguing because Lee compares her to Zoe, saying that she does things impulsively without thinking about the far-reaching consequences. Then it goes to compromising and Mary Jane telling him that he needs to grow a backbone. And in turn, he tells her that she would run any man away, even if he did have a backbone. And I'm saying, okay, well, y'all just go ahead on and work this thing out. And so I swear that argument played out just like men do stuff like that. They'll pick arguments with you, and then you say things and they say things, and once it's out there you can't take it back. But I am sure that he's just feeling insecure about the whole Justin thing and wants to break up with her. And then again, he probably wants to have that baby with Zoe. We don't know what's going on with Lee at the moment. But Mary Jane, you could have seriously injured that man when you threw whatever that was across that room. So it's a good thing that Lee has good reflexes, or Mary Jane would have took his head off. And I'm sure she threw that thing to release some of her sexual frustration. So, girl, I hope you're able to get you some either from Lee or from Justin, from somebody, because you're acting real crazy right now. So in Atlanta, Mama Helen is organizing a surprise gift for Mary Jane, but Niecy, is all in her feelings and acting like she don't want to participate. So we had a couple of scenes with Patrick where he's making a video and he's telling Mary Jane, how important she is and how, instrumental she has been in his life, and he's grateful to have her as a sister and how proud he is of her. And then later on in the show, Niecy finally participates, and so she basically tells Mary Jane that she loves her and she's inspired by her. And then I think she said she got a booth to do hair, even though she don't have a license to do hair, and that her and Dante's other baby mama, they done work something out where they're going to watch each other's kids so that they can go to school together. And then I think Mama Helen and the father, Paul Sr., were telling her that they're going back to Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and I'm hoping they were just going to visit, that they weren't moving there. But anyway, they're going to Hattiesburg for some reason. So it was a cute little video, something that you can share and always have close to your heart. And I think videos, the way you can do videos nowadays, they're probably going to replace greeting cards anyway. So I'm thinking it was the next day or later that day, but Mary Jane is in her office and she's crying over Lee. And then Justin comes in and he sees her crying and he freaks out, doesn't know what to do, so he runs to get Carl, to tell Carl, go see what's wrong with our girl. So then in the meantime, Garrett tells Justin that their story about the Knicks fans has been bumped because Ronda came up with some idea about some chick that developed these emojis, and they're going to bring her on and talk about these emojis. It just sounded so stupid, like something that, yeah, they would do something. Because I can see Kathy Lee and Holder doing a stupid story like this. So yeah, I can believe it did happen. So Mary Jane, she's talking to Cara and telling Cara what happened. Cara's telling her, to pull herself together. But Mary Jane says that, she's lost Lee, Cara's lost Orlando, so they should just go home and listen to Adele and cry for the rest of the day. But Cara's like, hell no, we ain't doing that. You got to get up and get out there and do that story. So then Justin asks Cara, what's going on with Mary Jane? And then I guess Cara looked at him and tell that, he was being sincere and concerned about a homegirl. So she decides to trust him and tell him that, Mary Jane and Lee broke up. So Justin tells Cara that the story, has changed, and so they got to get Mary Jane together and get her out, into the anchor chair. So meanwhile, Ty is trying to work a miracle on that girl. He has her in the chair, get ready to do her hair and the makeup, give her some clear eyed, to dry up her little tears. So on air, Aaron and Mary Jane are like, what the hell are we doing? Like, this is the dumbest story anybody could have came up with. So Cara, she helps Mary Jane through it, to save the segment. And so afterwards, Justin thanks Cara, and she pretty much lets him know that she'll do anything for Mary Jane and she will always have her back. So Justin lets Mary Jane know that he thinks that they should pitch the story about Liz, since, all the big wigs are there and that they saw her in the anchor chair and the chemistry that her and Aaron had together. So if they decide, to pull Ronda or fire her or whatever, that they will still have it fresh on their mind that, hey, Mary Jane just did a really great job. But then Mary Jane is skeptical, so Justin says he understands and he will go and do it alone. And I'm thinking, Mary Jane, that might not be a good look, because you don't know what Justin's going to say when he get up there in that office talking to those people. Hell, he might throw you, Rhonda, Cara, and everybody else under the bus, but she seems to have complete trust in Justin at this point, and so she tells him to go ahead on. Then we have a scene with Garrett and Justin, and you can tell that Garrett is kind of like over the whole back and forth and, them doing things to try and get at Rhonda, but he also loves a breaking story, and he loves his job more than he loves any of these Negroes running around there. So he tells Justin that he and Mary Jane, should lay low for the rest of the day, but don't go far, just in case he needs to talk to them. Justin shows up at Mary Jane's hotel suite, to share the news and to have a drink. And he tells Mary Jane that he knew Rhonda had slipped up months ago, and that he set this whole thing up, and that was, part of pitching the story, where he brought up the whole topic about the Liz lady and then Rhonda going down to the Virgin Islands, that was all part of his plot to eventually expose this story. The two are getting all chummy and, telling stories about their whole Atlanta days. And I think Justin told Mary Jane that the Vladimir guy said that he had slept with her before, and Mary Jane was like, hell no, so they're kind of like under the influence, but Mary Jane is still concerned that Rhonda will come up, with a way to wiggle out of it and blame somebody else. And then Mary Jane shares with Justin that she really doesn't want Rhonda to be fired, that she's had this fantasy, I guess, going on where Rhonda teaches her the ropes, and then she replaces Rhonda, but then Rhonda is still there, to see her be successful and everything. And so Justin is like, girl, please, you want to get Rhonda out the door, and, don't be that type of person that this is your time. Rhonda's getting older. It's time for her to move on. It's just like how things transition in the business. So Justin gets a text from Garrett, and they need to come to the office. And so Rhonda is being suspended indefinitely, and Mary Jane will be taking her place. So it looks like things turned out just the way Justin planned for them to. So Mary Jane is, she's in the studio and she's spinning around in the anchor chair, just really happy and pleased with herself, when Justin walks in and lets her know, that everyone has gone for the day, Garrett and all the staff and everything. So when she tells him thank you, he lets her know that they are now a team. Then the two of them kiss, and Mary Jane backs up and she's like, no, we shouldn't be doing this. Let's keep it professional. But that lasted all of about 2 seconds. And so all of a sudden it was bets off, and whew, that love scene. I'm telling you, he just stripped Mary Jane down butt naked in the studio. Just went down on her, flipped her around, got it from the back and everything else. And I was posting on Twitter that I toured a television station yesterday. We have a local station here called Bay News 9. And so I went on a tour of their studio. And so now I get a better picture of how things are going. But now they are a 24-hour news station that I went to visit. So it was always people there. And even the anchors, like, they pre-record their segments, but they have to stick around in case there's breaking news. But in the case of Mary Jane, I can see that could have happened, because like the studios are off in the corner somewhere, they're dark, and you have to like really go down the hallway to even look into the studio to see what's going on. And if everybody had left for the day, they probably were the only two people in the building. But considering Justin is Justin and we don't really trust him, I wouldn't be surprised if it turns up later that there's a video of him and Mary Jane, or that there was somebody else in the building, because at Bay News 9 they had like cameras on the floor And then there were like a control room where there were producers in a separate room from the studio where the anchors were actually recording. So somebody could have been in there and flipped the switch or something like that. So I just hope this doesn't come back and bite Mary Jane in the ass. So Mary Jane runs into Rhonda, and she is not a happy camper. And so she warns Mary Jane that she won't be in that chair for long. And the two, they make a few digs at each other. And, Rhonda was basically telling Mary Jane that she's 40 years old, and so, her time is going to be up because being an anchor is for young people. And then she lowers the boom on Mary Jane and tells her, tell Cara that I'm sorry things turned out this way. So, of course, Mary Jane's like, what the hell happened to Cara? So she goes running to Cara's office, and we learn that Cara has been suspended also. So, of course, she's in tears because she had been working so hard to move up the ladder and get in, with the guys. But actually, I think the second that her and Orlando broke up was when, but I don't know, did she tell them that her and Orlando broke up? Because they were watching some kind of interview with Orlando. He had grew a goatee, and so she really didn't say, like, I didn't know he had grew that or anything when they, made comments about it. So maybe they don't know her and Orlando broke up. But anyway, Cara's been suspended also, and she's thinking that this is really going to hurt her career. Cara also lets Mary Jane know that when Garrett called her in to let her know that she was being suspended, that Justin was there, and so she feels like Justin was behind the whole thing, and that Mary Jane can't trust him, and that he's going to get her out of there also because he has like some ultimate plan. So Mary Jane goes to confront Justin, and he says that he didn't know that Cara would get suspended, that he didn't think things through. But Mary Jane was like, you're very calculated. You had to know that there would be collateral damage, and you should have told me. And so she asked him, if his plan was to screw Cara and then screw her literally, I guess. And so I'm thinking, like, poor Cara, she done lost her man, she done lost a job. Like, what else is going to happen to her? And so it looks like Justin, he's always talking about other people slipping and not watching Mary Jane's back, but it seems like he done gotten his feelings about Mary Jane, and now he's slipping. So Mary Jane storms out of the office, and when she turns the corner, who would be standing there but Mr. Lee? I'm like, boy, you ain't back across that pond yet, because we really need you to go. So Lee, he wants to work things out with Mary Jane, but she's not trying to hear it. She's getting ready to go on air because I think they had to make the announcement, or Aaron was going to make the announcement that Rhonda had been suspended and why she was suspended. And this guy comes in and he kind of saves her and lets her know that Ty is ready for her to get in the chair so he can get her ready for her segment. And so she walks off and leaves Lee standing there. Then we have a scene where Carl goes to Orlando's condominium, and when he opened the door, he didn't have no shirt on or anything. And so I'm thinking, oh my God, please don't let there be another woman in that room. But then he backs up and let her in. So I'm so happy that Cara and Orlando are getting back together. And by the way, if anybody knows what that song was that was playing when Cara went to see Orlando, please leave it in the comments because I like that. I can't tell who it was, but I like the song. So then we go back to Mary Jane, and she's sitting in Ty's chair, and she's watching her birthday video from her family, and it really brightens her day, and so they were just basically giving her like a video birthday greeting. And I can't remember if they said they were sending her a gift or not, but that'd be kind of tacky if they don't give Mary Jane a gift. But I'm not sure, what's up with this Ty guy, because he keeps giving Mary Jane this hairdo that look like it's from the 1950s, like this Marilyn Monroe little thing going on. But, Mary Jane was looking good and she was glowing. And of course, she was just ecstatic that she had finally gotten what she wanted, which was to be in that anchor chair. And then Justin is there, to encourage her as she walks into the studio, and give her that little, you can do this, girl. And then we can see that Lee was standing on the outside of the studio. And so he was, looking in, wishing that that was him there. And of course, getting more jealous and wondering what's going on between Mary Jane and Justin. So that was it, guys. It was an awesome, awesome show. And so now they got us like, oh my God, what's gonna happen? When they come back, and they did show a preview of the episode, from July 18. And so when Ronda comes back, she comes back with the vengeance. So we're gonna see what happens, and then something's gonna happen with I couldn't tell if Justin was like telling Mary Jane he had time to be playing games with her, so she coming, she better come on good, or if he was telling her that it was just a one night stand and that he's not really interested. So we'll see what happens, but I kind of like really want Lee out of the picture. I want Mary Jane to be happy, but Lee just wasn't it for me. But then I also don't want to see Mary Jane go back to her scandalous ways, and then I'm also kind of want Stephen Bishop to come back on the show and straighten her out. But then every time I start missing David, I think about what he did to Mary Jane and how he was sleeping with Lisa, and just a mess. But anyway, guys, leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I will chat with you guys later. Bye-bye.